little tongue-tied today, Kev. I can't spit out my sentences. I think it's because this bug flying around.
I don't think it's just the bug, man.
It's just the bug.
Zootop is going to be our Chinese. Now you're having that effect on me. Thank you very much. Chinese Protoss player spawning on the right bottom side of Eckland Waste, and he is going to go up against everyone's favorite top 3 control.
That's right.
EG HuK.
EG HuK.
RC. I don't think it's RC anymore. He's still playing with it. I think it's new. Monster HuK. Monster always works.
There you go. Razor HuK.
I looked at Top's games earlier today because I was actually not casting his series against Sage in the qualifiers, and I missed it back then. So I was just wondering, like, Top was able to defeat Sage 2-0. That's pretty huge. So I took a look at the games. Both games he opened up with a Dark Templar build, with the Dark Templar Shrine, just Dark Shrine. And I was kind of wondering, like, you know, doing it the first game, that's always kind of smart, and you know, you might be able to get away with it, might be able to catch your opponent slightly off guard, kill a lot of probes, and second game you're gonna have to switch things up, right? But he's like, no, I'm just gonna do it twice in a row because it works so well in game number 1. And I actually thought that was kind of genius, because not often you see someone opening up Dark Templars twice in the same series.
Yeah, it's like the Suppy Mine games.
Yeah, pretty much. Then again, Suppy doesn't really build a whole lot of Dark Shrine. Unless he's playing team games.
But he does build a whole lot of early pools against the Muslim.
Yeah. And he often makes a lot of banelings as well. I'm sure that HuK has been watching those games as well, so I'm sure that HuK is going to be relatively well prepared. We know that HuK likes to be aggressive, but I think in PvP that's a little different. I think he likes to open up with double gates, get a couple of stalkers out on the map, take a little bit of map control with that. We saw him last season play against Crank in WCS Premier League, and that series didn't really go all that well for him. HuK was not completely ready to deal with that crazy stuff from Crank, where he doesn't just proxy his gate, but basically also gets a Cybercore at home, and then he starts warping in a couple of, or not warping in, just building Zealots and Stalkers super early before warp cake technology is ready. And HuK wasn't, you know, he wasn't capable of dealing with it back then. I'm sure that he is by now. And here we do see that second gateway going down. So HuK is indeed going to make probably just 3 Stalkers, Mothership Core, take a little bit of map control, and above all, try to get some information on what Top is doing.
3 Stalker opening, something I know you're real familiar with, Kev. Allows the Protoss player to just take that extra bit of map control. You can't really 4-gate into 3 Stalkers. Well,
I mean, you can if you're very sneaky,
it's going to be tough. Certainly these Stalkers are going to give HuK the ability to find and kill probes, shut down pylons, and certainly this Zealot is not going to be much of a threat.
If Zootop is going to run a... I kind of want to call him Zootop because I think that's such a funny name, but of course I should just call him Top. If Top is going to run across the map or even commit this Mothership Core across the map, he might find himself in a really dicey position early on, because 3 Stalkers is way better than Stalker Zealot Mothership Core. So Top is going to have to be quite careful with how he wants to go at it. He's still chrono boosting off 1 gate, but then even then I'm not sure if I like it all that much, unless he's able to get a couple of free shots off on this Stalker as HuK is going...
all comes down to HuK's reaction speed, and he will take a couple shots.
I love what Zootop is doing there, or just Top. He shot and then he immediately moved closer to the Stalker, knowing that this was a fight that on this moment he was never going to lose. The probe is going to see the Mothership Core though, and this might actually become pretty big. Top has to be so careful, he can really not overcommit.
HuK looks like he wants to sit at the top of his ramp.
Yeah, he's going to wait for his own Mothership Core. And like, if Top is really going to commit to this, what is your follow-up, by the way? Okay, there we do see the Stargate.
The probe also got passed, and HuK's already dropping a pylon on the other side of the map.
I really like HuK's position right now, unless there is some sort of a miscontrol, which, you know, it's HuK after all, so I don't think that's going to happen. Well, he might lose 1 Stalker, but he has 2 more Stalkers on the way.
Oh,
he has his Mothership Core.
Stalker does fall. So first blood drawn by Top, but it's now 4 Stalkers against 2 Stalkers.
No more energy either for a recall.
Cannot recall. These units are just, they're committed.
I really like HuK's position right now, Ben. He's going to be able to win this fight. He might be able to snipe this Mothership Core if he wants to commit to that. But above all, as you said, he has a pylon up on the other side of the map. Wow, that probe wasn't able to see what's going on in the main base. If HuK only knew... Oh, he made a sentry. If HuK only knew what we knew...
Looks like he's playing a little scared. He's afraid of maybe 3 or 4 gate kind of an attack.
Or maybe even a DT, because at the end of the day, this was a 1 gate opening, and HuK is probably able to figure out that this was indeed a 1 gate opening.
Mothership Core will make its way into the main here. HuK will immediately warp in some Stalkers.
I think he's actually going to lose his Mothership Core. He can't recall. I think Top is making a pretty big mistake.
He's going to get, what, 1 probe? 2?
Does he have sentries? Well, he has 1 sentry, but he's going to be forced to warp in so many additional sentries.
HuK is trying to bait that force field, but it's not going to happen, and he's not going to commit. He's not going to commit to getting up that ramp.
Yeah, but now the good thing about all this, man, is that he's Top is probably a little worried right now, so he's making a void ray. I don't think he necessarily wanted to make a void ray in this phase of the game. I still kind of like HuK's position. He has a little bit of map control. Of course, this Oracle is scary, but I think overall it went okay. Taking a look at the worker count, we see that it's even. But I feel like if it's one base against one base, these target builds are not that fantastic. Certainly not if it's Oracle opening into Void Ray.
HuK's game senses must be tingling. He's sending everything all the way home. He saw something. He senses something. And these two Stalkers are going to show up just in time for the Oracle. That is just phenomenal for HuK. And Oracle is not going to manage to do any damage. We've seen this same thing unfold so many times before where the Protoss leaves his army in the natural just to delay expansions. HuK doesn't fall for it this time.
Beautiful play by HuK. The fact that he was able to pick up that ramp a little bit, saw the Zealot, saw the one sentry with that Mothership Core in his Stalkers, probably gave him the reaction that he's doing right now. He's like, I'm probably going to have to worry about something in my main real soon. Otherwise, your army composition makes no sense for this phase in the game. Revelation being casted.
Oh!
So close. But no cigar.
10 hit points left on that Oracle. That was a completely necessary sound effect that I made there.
Observer is going to get a pretty good scout up over here on the other side of the map. HuK is aware of all these Zealots, and I think if HuK looks at his army, he's like, that's not that terrifying. My expand is a little bit quicker than yours. Your Oracle did absolutely nothing other than, revelating my base for a little bit. And sure, you can see all my probes mining. It's not necessarily the end of the world.
We have a Warp Prism out now for HuK.
But I was kind of wondering if HuK was going to drop a Twilight Council to get a couple of Blink Stalkers out, but it seems like he doesn't want to go that route, which I don't really blame him for. Of course, Blink Stalkers are always useful and nice to some degree, but since his opponent has a robotics facility as well, if you make Blink Stalkers, you're suddenly putting yourself in a position where I'm going to have these Blink Stalkers, I'm going to have to make them do something that's going to have to be worth it somehow, some way. And if your opponent is just sitting back and making Immortals, it can be very hard, and you don't really want to put yourself in that position, so HuK's not going to commit to it, which I think is smart in the long run.
Instead, what he's doing is he's sending the Warp Prism back to the main base. He's bringing up his entire army to the front of the natural, so he's going to create...
He has a lot of sentries as well. Sorry to cut you off there, Ben, but he has... I was kind of wondering why HuK was making all those sentries. HuK is going to just kind of perhaps... Just YOLO swag it, man. Just drop a lot of force fields, and if he traps his army, then maybe, but this army...
more importantly, if he pulls that army up into the main base and then force fields it out...
yeah. I don't think that's going to work anymore, but still, all these force fields are really scary. Where is the reinforcements final though? There isn't really one. Here comes the Oracle. The Oracle might actually cause a lot of problems right now. This is going to be a really interesting and important game.
Whoa, Photon Overcharge is going to kill the Oracle. I didn't even know the Mothership Core was back there. Here comes the fight at the base of the natural ramp, and Top is going to repel HuK here, but at the same time, there's been a massive warp in the main base, and HuK's going to try to focus down. No, he's not. He's just... They're on him.
Wow, and he killed 9 workers already, and he already had a worker advantage, so this has already been completely worth it for HuK. Right now, Top is only mining from one base. He's trying to just counter straight up. Army supply, it is looking a little terrifying, but HuK still has so many sentries, and sure, these Void Rays are scary, but if you just force field out the rest of the army, or above all, force field out the Zealots, I think HuK will be able to defend this without too many issues.
Very simply, Top's not going to be able to get up this ramp as long as HuK doesn't make a major control mistake. So he's going to try. Here comes Top. And those were maybe not the best force fields in the world.
Actually, those were pretty bad force fields. Now all these Zealots are able to connect with these Stalkers as well, and all these Stalkers are dying before the Void Rays are dying. HuK is forced to pull probes for a small moment. He does have that Photon Overcharge still to rely on, but HuK lost way more units there than he should have and maybe could have.
Yeah, lost every single sentry.
Still
and
very, very far ahead, economically though.
A huge army knocking at his front. I don't think he can kill this army, Kevin. There's no way. The only way HuK wins from here is if he can just win a base race.
He's not going to win a base race.
Okay, he's going to go up his ramp. He's going to force... Okay, that's very smart, I think. Force field his ramp, win from inside of his main base, because there's no way he crushes this army.
So there's going to be 1 base against 0, basically. How many sentries does HuK have? He doesn't really have too much gas right now. I don't think that HuK's going to be able to hold this ramp.
None. There are no sentries.
I think it's game over after all. HuK killing a crazy amount of workers with all those Zealots, but he didn't drop the best force fields on top of his ramp in his natural. And all those Zealots, there was such a scary army from Top if he was able to connect with all the units, and somehow he did. Such a close fight. Maybe another Photon Overcharge, but I mean, HuK is as broke as Top right now.
You know, it's still kind of hard to call. There are these 3 prisms, not prisms.
Both an overcharge being casted right now, so that means the top is going to lose those additional units as well. Does HuK have any money? He has a little bit more money.
Minerals. And man, a bizarre game. It is so impossible to say what's going to happen right now.
Just walked in 3 sentries, man. So he's going to be able to force feed out those Immortals, and HuK is going to be able to have a mining base again.
He needs to deny the natural, though.
Yeah, with this,
Photon overcharge is going right now, though.
HuK does have a nice... no, actually it's the other way around. Top has a nice worker lead. HuK's going to get an initial
Photon
sentry.
overcharge has now expired. Mothership core is here with some energy.
This is really good right now. Every probe that HuK kills is a massive one. The force field. Oh, 2 zealots squeeze on, but I don't think that's enough. That's a perfect force field by HuK. It's he's going to be able to kill these 2 zealots.
And not from losing the high ground, he can shoot at these. The Mothership core can just float out and start picking away at the. Oh my God! Huge force fields from the high ground, and Top can't see up. Did HuK just do it? I think he just saved himself. From bottom 3 to top 3, those force fields in the beginning were awful. These force fields at the end are amazing, and HuK,
I can't believe this. HuK
salvages
down to 2 workers, but somehow, some way finds a way back into this game, and he wins it.